Today, we are going to make some grass. No, I'm not in Colorado, so it's not going to be that kind of grass. It's our techniques that are so simple and sensible, your models will practically build themselves.
Hello folks, it's Mad Dog Merv. Welcome to today's show. Today we are going to be looking at a couple of more bases. And the first one, we're going to take those nice mechanical looking bases that I purchased and painted up, and they were all pretty and nice, and we're going to weather them. We're going to make them look used, worn, rusty. So that's the first thing we're going to do. And then the second thing is I'm going to introduce you to a kind of a wintry type base that's got frozen water, like a frozen pond, frozen inlet, something like that. You could use this for model railroading. You could use this in model cars. You could use it for a winter scene. You could use it in a World War II European diorama or something like that. The techniques will all be the same. It's just depending on the size of base that you're trying to do these techniques. So stick with Mad Dog Merv as we look at another installment of some of the bases that I am building for my miniatures. Okay, so you see these nice bases that I did some time ago. I did a video on them, and here they're a little bit weathered. This one isn't weathered at all, which is fine. We're going to go ahead and we're going to dirty them up and make them look, well, probably like they really should. What I am using, and you can use any red brown, I'm using an acrylic. This is an old polyscale, believe it or not. I have it still viable. And it's a red oxide, so it's close to rust as you want to get. And what I'm going to do is I am just going to dry brush this whole thing. Now, I have, as you can see, I've got a bit of stuff on here. And we're going to dry brush it one way and then the other. Until I'm happy with it. Whoops. Okay, you get the idea. I'll finish these other two off camera and we'll be right back. Okay, so you can see how it turned out. It did help dirty it up a bit, definitely rusted it up a bit. Now, for the fun part, guys love this because, well, we get to get dirty and messy. And I'm just going to take, this is the Enamel Wash by AK Interactive. This particular one is for NATO camo vehicles. It's kind of a grayish sludge wash. And I am just going to slather it.
And we're just going to go ahead and speed things up here just a little bit, get through this, but I'm slathering it on here nice and thick. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use a McDonald's napkin, but paper towel, whatever napkin you've got. And I'm just going to wipe them off real quick. If you're not happy with the results, you can either reapply it or you could try taking some mineral spirits on a damp cloth like this and wiping it off. So whatever works.
Now for the final phase, I'm going to take some gunmetal X10 from Tamiya. Although I do like the, I want to say it's AK's Model Air. I use that quite a bit as well. And I'm going to take my dry brush. Already got a little bit here. And I'm going to go over the highlights on this base. I want the edges to have this kind of a metal looking edge, if you will. I want the highlights to have a little bit of a metal look to them. Get down in there. And now we have kind of a rusted metal looking
grimy base. That quick, that simple. Let's do that on this bigger one here. And it's hard to see on film, on video, but looking at it, it definitely has that metallic sheen to it, particularly the edges and the highlights. So quick and easy, and I think it turns out pretty darn good. So for this next segment, we're going to make the frozen lake, frozen river, frozen whatever you want to call it. I'm going to start out with, I'm going to use colander sky, whatever it's called. But it's a nice blue. And a couple of these are just old bases that I've already done other things to that we're going to paint over for this demo. I can do this step after I put the cork on, or I can do this step now, and I'm just choosing to do it right now. So you guys have seen me use the flat pieces of cork, and those work really fine. I just happen to have this. Believe it or not, it was sitting on my front lawn the other day. Oh, this will be perfect. So I'm going to take this cork. You can cut it with an X-Acto. You can cut it with, I'm going to use this razor saw. And you can cut it as thick as you want. That's the beauty of it. So, try and get a fairly even cut on this. I'm going to try. That didn't work out so good. Oh no. No, not at all. But, you can see it's, but that's okay. That's okay. This side's fairly flat. What I'm going to do, no, I'm not going to put it there. I'm going to break it up. Yeah, I can say that now. Famous last words. I'll break it up into a couple of pieces. And I need to grab one of my nuns with guns. Let's find one of them here. Here we go. We kind of look at the stance as to where I want the cork. So, okay. Nice thing about using a nice round piece of cork like that is you'll notice it fits on the base pretty well. I don't know why put more effort into it than I have to. I'm going to super glue this down. Okay. Where's my kicker? There's my kicker. Okay. Put that piece on, and now look at, do I want a bigger piece or a smaller piece? I think that small piece would be nice. Oh yeah, that works. So, take that and put it right, put that in my finger right there. There we go. Very nice. And just double check. She can stand on that just fine. Okay, that's going to work. Now the blue paint's dry. I've gone ahead and put my cork on. Roughed it up just a little bit in a couple of places. But here, this is a piece of plaster rock off of the train layout that I salvaged. I had to shape it a little bit in the back and painted that black. But I think that's going to work out fine. And I put a piece of something here. You could put like a weapon, a piece of a relic, whatever. And that's kind of what this is to represent, and it's going to be frozen into the ice. If you can identify what that is, mention it in the comments. You'll be surprised what it really is. So, okay, I'm going to take some Thousand Suns blue, and I'm going to mix a little bit of that in. And since it's a little bit lighter and brighter color, I'm going to kind of put that in the maybe more shallow area, if you will. Nice. Gives a little bit of contrast. Secure. Okay. It's very subtle.
So here I'm going to use, this is an old model color by Vallejo. It's their black gray. And I'm going to take some of that and use it on the rock. Trying to be careful not to get it down into my water. Okay, come back and we'll highlight this in a moment. Okay, so I'm going to take, this is some H53 that I've got laying around. It says neutral gray by Hobby Color, Aqueous. Anyway, so we're going to dry brush this. Try and do it lightly on my ground. Trying to make sure I get the face. I think that's as good as I'm going to get that. So then we will go on to the next step, which is the actual making of the ice. See how I do on this one. And I think I'm happy with that right there. Okay. So now we have this ready to go. There's a couple ways you can do it. If it's a larger base, I could just put it in just one of these little cups here, upside down. And like what I've done here, just put some super glue on the bottom here. Got it as straight as I could, and then I cut the top off. Now we're going to pour the liquid down in here. This one, however, being a small base, I'm probably going to have to put it in here, right side up, and make sure I get it straight. Put the glue in, and then pour. So we'll see what I decide to do here. It's a little bit difficult, but I'll get it figured out. We are going to try it with this camera angle and this lighting. We'll see how it works for you folks. So this is some clear epoxy resin that I have, and I am going to fill it. Let's see, for both of these, I think I'm going to do, we're going to try this. Try and do it at 5 milliliters.
So the rest of the video didn't turn out, but let me just tell you what I did. I did get it to the 5 milliliter mark. That worked out for these two bases just fine. I had a little bit left over. Just stirred it up really good, poured it down the center, and we're going to let it sit for about 18 hours.
So now for the unveiling here, a couple of different ways we can do this. Probably just going to do it the easiest, which is, I think it's the easiest. Just cut the cup and peel it off. Now you can see I've got a lot of cleanup here on these edges that I'm going to have to do. the main thing is I do have some here on this edge that I'm going to have to cut down just a little bit. Now for the next step. All right, so now we've pulled the plastic off, and you can see there's some of this is dripped down along the side. So I'm going to go around, I'm going to clean this off the best that I can. Some of it is super glue, but I'm going to work on that, and I'm going to cut this edge down just a little bit. So it kind of climbed up the wall of the cup. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, this is just some 220 grit sandpaper. I'm going to sand that edge, but I'm also, you see how nice and crystal clear this is, but I'm going to put some scratches in it from the sandpaper. Simulate some scratches in the ice. Okay, I'm going to remove the rest of this and we'll come back. Now I'm going to take it, and you can see where I've got it at with the scratches on there. I'm going to have to do some touch up on the rock, but before that, I'm going to go ahead and take some. Well, we're just going to call it Future because that's what it's always been. But you can use any gloss medium that you want. And I am just going to go back over the ice with it. And actually, just because I can, I think I'm going to actually get my base. Let's see if I wind up needing to paint that or not. But, okay, that's simple. We'll wait for it to dry. Everything's dried up. The scratches pretty much got filled in when I put that Future on there, so, and that's okay. But you can see how the base is looking. It's looking quite nice. The same here. Now I'm going to take some Woodland Scenics Flex Paste. Now there's other products you can use, but I found over the years that this works the best. So I'm going to take some of this, and I'm going to make my snow bank. I'm going to put a little onto the ice here. And I'm going to put some over here. And on this one, put it here. You can use as much or as little of this as you want. Kind of builds up like a snowbank, okay? Now I'm going to use, and there's other brands out there as well, but I'm going to use some Soft Flake Snow from Woodland Scenics. And I am just going to sprinkle it, on those areas. And voila. I gotta come back and brush this excess off once it's dry, but you get the idea. Pat this down just a little bit. And there we go. So we'll come back for the final after this dries and I brush it off. Let's take a look at how this one turned out. I did this one several days ago. I actually put what looks like a board here in the ice, and you can see how the snow turned out. I put one of my nuns with guns. Not painted very far yet, but you get the idea. And there is our frozen water or frozen lake, whatever you want to call it, base.